Hi everybody! Today what I'm going to do is show you a self-care calendar. Let's focus on fertility, but whether you're trying to work on and improve your health, I want to show you this. Okay, so here it is. This is it. Now, a lot of times what we do is we tell ourselves, okay, I'm going to go for a run, I'm going to exercise, or I'm going to eat breakfast every morning, or I'm going to take my vitamins, and it's all in our head. So it's best to write it down, put it in a journal, or I like to use Google Calendar. I know, I wish I could just write everything out, but sometimes I have to slide things around and then my paper calendar would get really messy. So here we are. I'm looking at next week as of this recording, and who knows when you're watching this. So this is a sample. This is a desire. This has some truth to it. This is not my actual calendar. I do have a written up calendar. So let's talk about it. Depending on consideration, your job, if you have an office job or if you work from home, or if you do have a child or children to get to school, or if you're taking care of someone and you have to do visits, there's so many things, right, that get into our, I don't want to say get into our way, but there's so many things that fill up our calendar and our days and our lives. And that's why it's like boom, boom, boom. I know sometimes I feel like I'm on a treadmill and I'm like, I didn't do this. Okay, so that can turn into overwhelm or even forgetfulness. Let's look at our calendar. I know you're probably reading my calendar like, what? This is some of the stuff that I do. Okay, so I'm an early riser. This works for me. Every day, I'm up by 5, sometimes earlier. It never happened until I had my son almost 11 years ago. I do practice some form of yoga or stretching every single morning. All right, well, let's be realistic. Maybe it's 80 or 90%, it depends. But I strive for a regular every single day, and this is the time. And I like to stretch and move and warm up and get the blood circulating before I would consider sitting for meditation. If I sit right away, I might be a little bit stiff from sleeping, or I don't know, right? You're cold, your joints. I mean, that's why yoga was created. According to my practice, I've got over 1,000 years in yoga training, yoga health training, and meditation. And we practice yoga so we can sit and calm our minds and empty things out and let go. So this is a nice way to do it, is yoga first, then sitting. For you, this could be, if you're open or if you do yoga, practice yoga. I encourage you to try to do it in the morning, but some people prefer it at lunchtime. That's fine. You could always take your little thing and slide it down. If you're like, nah, more of a late morning, or, it's easier if you're working from home, then you can be more flexible. But some people, it's like, nope, I wake up, I gotta get rolling, get my exercise in, eat, and then get to work. Not on a Sunday. Well, maybe on a Sunday if you're a nurse or, like somebody who works different hours, or you work like overnight red-eye shifts. I used to do that. You gotta plan exercise and eating and all the things differently. So take this calendar as a sample and look at some of the blocks. And I think the best way to apply this is, I don't have my journal in here. It's out in my living room. I have my chair with my books, and I have a journal and a little pen, and that's where I have my tea. So sometimes I will actually journal before I do yoga. I'll have some herbal tea or something to wake up, or drink a bunch of water first thing in the morning. Okay, so get a journal and write down, these are 5 things that I really would love to do to take care of myself, and plug them into your calendar. I strongly encourage you to do that, because if it's an appointment with yourself, it's important, right? And it's not always easy. There's a simple solution, we're going to plug and play and make up this really cool schedule, and you can put all the nice colors, and it's hopefully a good reminder, this is important, and you're almost worthless if you're not taking care of yourself. And I mean that in a loving way. You're not worthless, but how do you feel when you don't take care of yourself, right? I mean, you're probably stressed out or tired or brain fog or angry. I get irritable if I don't get at least some self-care. And it doesn't happen every day, or this, look at this schedule. So Monday, 5 to 5:30, maybe it's a 10-minute routine or a 15-minute, because I just feel like I want to meditate, or maybe I'm really low energy and I'm just doing a lot of stretching. It isn't just doing, that's what I'm doing at the moment. Okay. Same with meditation. I will sit there. I don't time myself. I sit, and then I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that was a little short today. Maybe it was only 25 minutes or 20 minutes, or maybe it was 10 minutes. Life life happens. My other thing is I have to wake up my son at 5:45 because he has a really early bus, which stinks because he's not even 11 at this time. And his bus comes at like 6:51 a.m. It's insane. So sometimes I'll cut the yoga short so I can meditate longer, or vice versa. Maybe I'm like, oh, I'm really into yoga this morning, and then I shorten up the meditation, whatever. But I have to get him up by 5:45. Exercise. I used to love exercising in the morning, but they changed his bus by an hour and a half. So now what happens for my schedule is I still want to get 30 minutes to an hour, at least probably 7 days a week. But I'm going to say like try to do 80% of what you set out to do. So realistic for me now is exercising. I really like to do it after I sit at my desk. And so for example, get him to the bus, and then from 7 to 9 or 7 to 10, I'm probably going to be like hardcore focused. That's when my brain's really, really going. And it feels really good to get out on my good work in the morning, on my writing, planning, and analyzing and research. All of that happens for me. I love it early morning. Afternoon is a different energy for me. So figure out when your focus is best and then do your focus work. So this is for example, and then I usually will not eat until 10, sometimes 11. And I encourage you, no matter what it is, don't have like breakfast at 7 one day, the next day it's at 10, the other time it's at 8. Like pick a 1 hour buffer and do this for each meal. If you're eating 3 meals a day, again, everybody's different here. Like I intermittent fast, so I usually am eating 2 meals and then I might have some snacks. It just depends on how much my body wants for protein or how much physical activity I've gotten. There's so many variables, and that's why it's kind of nice to look at your schedule week to week. If you have a ton of work going on, you still want to take care of yourself. You may have to move things around a little bit, but always try to keep your body on schedule because it looks forward to that. And again, it can really mess with your metabolism and energy levels if you're having inconsistent eating patterns. And full transparency, that is one of my biggest challenges. It never was until I had a child. And now it's like I'm trying to get so much done that sometimes I blow through. So I do put it in my calendar. This is a sample calendar, but I do have meals scheduled for myself. I'm like, oh, okay, 30 minutes, 1 hour. So anyway, exercise, then you get your breakfast, and then I would put in vitamins and herbs, okay? So most vitamins and supplements I do recommend, well, for myself, but my child, and I recommend that you take them with meals so they don't upset your tummy. It's hard to wake up sometimes and take herbs. Well, not herbs really. Herbs don't bother me like that, but vitamins and supplements for me are harder to break down and absorb into the system, and they can make me feel a little nauseous. So I will usually try and wait. You see how you feel, and then also you always ask for a doctor's input. I am a doctor, but I'm not your doctor. So you have to check in for personal recommendation for whoever you're working with. And by the way, I'm Dr. Gina Terranoni, and I have helped over 2,000 women and couples to get pregnant and have healthy babies, whether they're trying 100% naturally or they're using IVF or, they've got some other system that they're working with. Everything that I do is compatible and factors in that every human is unique and has different desires and needs different structure. So having said that, let's get back to this. Oh, and let me ask you to subscribe to my channel. I hope that this information is very helpful. This is one of planning self-care. Actually, I'm looking at my course content over here that has been in my program, my fertility program. It is in the first module because that's how crucial this is. You're not worthless, but your energy level, you can't give to other people and take care of other people without taking care of yourself. And we do it, right? And we do it sometimes. But just a reminder, like you make an appointment with yourself. I'm making an appointment with myself to have lunch today from 12 to 12:30, and then it happens. You don't schedule a meeting. You're not like snacking at your desk. Go outside, go to a table, tell your body 100% I'm doing this right now. So here we see this. Now for me, like it's different. This Sunday, super crazy early, I have to catch a plane. So I have to leave the house at like 4 a.m. So I'm bringing healthy snacks with me. I've got dried fruits. I've got dried pineapple and mango. I love it. I've got almonds packed. I've got some healthy organic protein bars, whole grains bars. What else? I have a little bag of food because I don't know what the restaurant situation is going to be like, right? So you always want to plan ahead and don't think, oh, I'll just grab breakfast at the airport, because I have no idea even yet what terminal I'm in. And I got an email saying the plane is probably going to be late and blah, blah, blah. So I don't bank on anybody. Take responsibility for your health care. Always have enough water with you and carry snacks and food, especially when you're traveling, but even at work. Okay, so this for me is not going to be a normal 3 days, but what I can guarantee you is that I'm traveling this day, so I probably will not get to stretch or do meditation unless I wake up early. I'll try to get 5 and 5. 5 minutes yoga, 5 minutes meditation. Otherwise, I may not get to do that. I probably won't eat until, after I land and all that stuff. Or I'll eat on the plane, just depends what time. I'll get to my conference. I have no idea when they're planning for lunch, so I'm not going to rely on that, but I'm going to have my snacks with me, and I'll probably split for 5 or 10 minutes if it's not when it's in my window of eating. Now, normally on a Sunday, this is a pretty small window for me, but I like to meal prep for the week, so I'll usually go grocery shopping if the weather's crappy, right? If I'm not outside having fun or going hiking with my family, or maybe it's later, maybe it's like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock or something. A lot of times when I'm making dinner on Sunday, I'm making a ton of extra and chopping vegetables and planning and putting them in containers in the fridge, just so we're a little bit prepared, at least for a few days. So like Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, I've got all the stuff chopped. I'm out of town this week, so that's not going to happen until I get back until Wednesday or whatever. Yeah, Wednesday will probably be the earliest. But I throw this in here as a sample, and it's to remind me to do it, and maybe that helps you as well. So same with lunch, try to keep it, I'm not saying I'm eating for an hour, but I want to eat within that hour. Your body's trained. Oh yeah, I'm getting nutrients. I'm getting energy sources. And then same with dinner. You want to be done. Ideally, you eat within a 12-hour window. Time restriction for fertility, I would not go shorter than a 12-hour window. And I have a whole module on that in my course. But if you're waking up, say you wake up at 6 o'clock and then you're eating at 7, you want to be completely finished all flavors, eating all flavored drinks, everything by 7 p.m. So 12 hours of that. Give your body the rest. You'll probably sleep better. You'll have better mental clarity. It helps to regulate weight. It can help to regulate hormones. There's so many benefits. And again, that's more like a time restricted eating. Next, you see it's similar, right? So again, like I'm traveling these days. So in my real calendar, it's, like a bright red. So I know that I'm going to have to move things around a little bit. And then if you're not like, I don't want to do yoga in the morning, or if you don't want to do yoga at all, that's totally fine. But I encourage you to stretch or get some kind of movement to get your circulation going for fertility. I mean, even like menopause, perimenopause, just regular health in general, like you need to stretch and get movement. If not, we get stiff and the ligaments and tendons get short and it feels terrible as you age. So for longevity purposes, keep moving and move throughout the day. So sometimes what I have them like 5-minute bursts, I call them. And I will just I'm sitting at my desk. I have an up-down desk as well, but I'm not going to stand for 2 hours. What I'll do is I leave my office, I'll go out to the room, or I'll go and grab my yoga mat or just a blanket, throw it on the floor. I'm like, maybe I'm just doing child's pose for 5 minutes, but I'm taking some time, I'm doing some deep breaths. And if I feel like work is getting hectic, then when I'm working here, I try to not sit longer than an hour. So like every 55 minutes or so, I kind of do it naturally now, but you might want to write in there or type in 5-minute break, and then do it every hour. And we'll just say 5 minutes, right? But you can just, if you know that things are getting crazy for you, then it's like, oh yeah, I got to stand up. So what I do is I have water bottles on my desk. I'll go, okay, I'm going to go have tea, or I'm going to go grab some more water. I'm just going to go stand outside and breathe some clean air so I can clear my head. So this Wednesday, it looks like, oh yeah, my son has an eye doctor appointment. I won't be able to put my full days, so I'm going to slide that up here, right? But maybe there's something else. If I have an appointment in the morning, then I'm going to slide it down. But I'm not going to change my eating. If for some reason I have an appointment during dinner time, what I would do is bring snacks and eat them with me, possibly eat when I get home, or maybe eat out like a warm meal or something like that. Okay? Some people like to exercise in the evening. That's totally fine if that works for you, as long as it doesn't keep you up at nighttime. It's great. It's just important to move every day for at least 30 minutes. And it doesn't have to be hardcore cardio, or maybe it's lightweight, like yoga. But I do encourage, this is huge, I encourage that you have what's called nature bathing. And there's so much research on this and benefits. When I was in school getting my doctorate, I came across so much research on nature bathing that every time we were in a class and I had to write up treatment plans, I always put it in and they would just laugh. But then everybody was like, God, there is a lot of research on this. So I can share that in another another episode, but get outside. And it doesn't mean you have to live in a forest or on top of a mountain. We kind of live on top of a mountain. I grew up in inner city Philadelphia. It was hard. It was really hard to get space from people. So find your way. But I always tell people, look for green, ideally something that's not sprayed with chemicals, right? It's like go to the park and you lay on the grass. You're like, oh God, I'm laying in chemicals. So just check out your surroundings. You can look, there's sites now that tell you if the chemicals are used for bugs or weeds or whatever, and just don't go there because you're breathing it in. Look for trees and touch a tree. I kid you not, smell a tree. Some of them smell amazing, like butterscotch. Where we are, I'm looking out my window. We have like a little forest outside, but whatever, get outside. Use your senses. What are you seeing? What are you smelling? What are you hearing? Are you hearing bird? Are you hearing a brook or like water flowing? Maybe you are hearing traffic. So try to find a space away where you can have your little serenity. And you know what? Sometimes if you're at work, it's 5 minutes in the bathroom. If you ever find a private stall, I used to do that when I had 30 staff. I literally would go in there and do like a 5-minute breathing stress routine just to release things throughout the day, because I kind of would get stuck if I was seeing like 30 or more patients and, working with staff. I would need some private time and if I didn't have time to get outside right away. But otherwise, I worked at a really busy intersection and it was a little bit noisy, but I would walk outside and just do like a 10-minute walk, anything to clear your head and just change gears for you. Change of scenery does amazing things for mental health. So please consider that. There's so much more. Like you can see, maybe you're getting out early. I put this in here. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should, because I haven't had a massage in a really long time. But treat yourself to self-care. Do it yourself, but it's always nice. Like maybe meeting up with a girlfriend and getting a cup of tea or something like that. Maybe that's your self-care, because I know for me it is. I call my best friend on the phone. I'm like, and she lives in California and it's far away, but you know what? It's nice to hear her voice. Sometimes we'll have a cup of tea together, or just I'll go sit outside or whatever. Saturday, I usually meet up, or I try to meet up with a hiking group. If I don't, then I go with my son and my husband. So, there's different rewards that you can give yourself. But I would put in responsibilities like work or taking care of people, because in your head, you're like, oh, I never get anything done. But look at this. This is not my whole schedule for the week. And this looks like a lot, but I have to prioritize the self-care, or I'm not going to be the best mom that I can be, or the best partner, or, you want to have mental clarity, you want to feel good about yourself, and you want to focus on longevity forever. This is always something that you should be working on, not just when you're trying to get pregnant, or not just when something else, right? Dealing with hot flashes from perimenopause or menopause, or, there's so many things that happen. So that is so much information. Please subscribe. I will go way more into this if you're interested. But it is inside one of my modules, and I have tons of handouts that are helpful, and we talk it through. And I wish you a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.